Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonya Maya. This is my first time using a real camera. I just got a Sony, so I'm going to talk about sex for the first time with good quality. Comment below to tell me how the quality is, what you think, because I've been using my phone and iPad this whole time. So here's a little up in the quality. My dad got me this for my birthday, so today I want to talk about moaning during sex. Why is it that people moan during sex? And if they don't make noise, is that a bad thing? Are you doing something wrong? Or maybe you just want to know kind of about yourself, like, why do I make that kind of noise? And let me just normalize some things for you. So I'm a clinical psychology doctorate student. I like to post real life applications to sex, relationship psychology. So don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on bell notifications if you enjoy this kind of content. So when you think about evolutionary reasons for why people moan, we've evolved to moan for certain reasons. And this is gonna sound kind of weird, but evolutionarily it kind of makes sense. So like back in the day, like let's say with a cave woman or whatever, we're having sex because it makes evolutionary sense to have more sexual partners. Like the moaning aspect was kind of like this way to be like, I'm having sex and I'm available for more men to have sex with me. It's kind of like a weird thing to talk about, but that's kind of evolutionarily why it makes sense to moan as women anyways. And this also makes sense evolutionarily that gangbangs are so popular on porn sites. Apparently that's like one of the most popular things that pops up is the gangbang thing. So some see moaning as a way of reassuring your lover that he or she is pleasing you. And some see it as important to make noise because they don't want to like put off their partner by being silent. Maybe they think that if they're not being loud enough or not expressing vocally like how much they're enjoying themselves, that their partner will feel insecure in some way, shape, or form. But I think that when that turns into an issue is when you're kind of putting on this act and not really 100% being honest and just like really going overboard. And it could also be a learned response too. Like social psychology shows you that behaviors are learned. So let's say a woman watches a lot of porn where the women are very obviously, sometimes not so obviously, faking their orgasm. They might like pick up the same kind of traits and think that that's how they should act. So a lot of people in like research studies that have to do with moaning, they generally report that it can be a valuable form of communication, that they do in fact enjoy when their partner expresses how much they're enjoying themselves. And other people also think that while moans are good and great and like it's nice to hear kind of like feedback in that way, that silence is toxic.
I just can't.
A sexologist and a relationship expert, Dr. Nikki Goldstein, says that vocals can be a great way to have some more fun and really express to your partner how good it feels. And when we know that we're pleasing our partner, that it can turn them on. Because the biggest sexual organ is your brain, your ears are the gateways to it. So she definitely finds that it's very useful. There's a study by Brewer and colleagues. You can view it below. I put the resource below. They did a study that looked into why women make noises during sex, and they found that 66% of the women reported that they make noises and moan during sex in order to speed up their partner's orgasm. And they pretend they're reaching their peak. They fake it. I'm not really a fan of faking it, but a lot of women do that. And the study also shows that women moan whenever they're bored, tired, uncomfortable during sex, or just to make, let's get this over with, let's make him come. Like, forget my needs, I don't even want it, let's just get this over with kind of thing. And during this study, it was found that women most commonly orgasm during foreplay, whether that's like fingering or being eaten out or that kind of thing. The vocalizations that they make, the fake ones, were generally simultaneously or before the male ejaculation. So a lot of women apparently fake it while the man comes, or to get him to come. And people agree that it's destructive to fake, but as I said, like 87% of the women admitted that they pretended to come with vocalizations during sex. And a lot of the time it's to boost the man's self-esteem, to kind of get it over with. And some see it as beneficial because they want their partner to be excited and they want their partner to feel good, so they think that it's kind of like worth it. And they also might like think that, you know, I want them to make noise and validate what I'm doing to them, and people tend to be more comfortable making noise if the other person's making noise. Like they don't want it to be like balanced and not be like the only one that's like you know. Faking it is so normalized and so common that there's all of these like videos on YouTube, like how to moan during sex and like ways to moan in a way that's sexy. And I just think it's kind of silly because it's like moaning should be like a, in my opinion, like a natural response. If you're being honest, if you're not faking it, it should come naturally. You shouldn't have to like watch a tutorial on how to do it. Like, yes. Maybe watch a tutorial on how to like improve sex with meditation, or maybe a tutorial on like certain kinds of like positions that you haven't tried, that kind of thing. But to need a tutorial for moaning when that should be a natural response of just like expressing pleasure, it's a little far-fetched for me. So what if they don't make noise at all? What if you're with a man or a woman and they're just like completely quiet? I feel like for a lot of people that might be really uncomfortable. You might feel insecure, like, am I doing something wrong? Like, what's going on here? Why aren't they making any noise? No validation whatsoever. So some people might feel shy and uncomfortable making noise. They might have like grew up in a home where they couldn't make noise, like they don't want their parents to hear, their neighbors to hear, they didn't want their neighbors to know their name. Just kidding, silly old school reference there. And maybe they just got used to silent pleasure, or maybe there's like some sense of shame in making that noise. And in general, most people, especially when they're young, they're taught that sexual activities, masturbation, oral sex, and fucking in general should be kept secret. Obviously, I disagree with that, which is why I talk about sex online and everything like that. But people are brought up to believe that, whether it's for religious reasons, cultural, etc. And that might be why they kind of keep it quiet. Might be shame there, but shame and sex do not go hand in hand. I was reading this article and it was talking about how you should consider what your partner is like during like outgoing public conversations. Are they quiet? Are they more reserved? It's a really good idea to communicate and try to mention to them that you wouldn't mind hearing them express their pleasure. You kind of want that validation and feedback and to kind of know what's going on. When you open up to them and tell them that you want them to express it to you, then you'll feel more comfortable opening up and like even like telling them what you would like. You like it when I talk dirty, that kind of thing, and then like kind of starting that conversation might make things a lot more comfortable in general. If you approach the subject of moaning versus silence in a calm, supportive way, it might actually improve your sexual experience altogether. You might be able to gain a little bit of insight outside of the bedroom, and then kind of just like that sexual communication might even make things a little bit hotter. If like you're really insecure about the fact that they're quiet, you might be able to actually notice if they're enjoying themselves through physiological movements, like seeing how their body's reacting. You can see if their muscles are tensing. Do they have certain facial expressions that are different than usual? Are they looking flushed in the face, or fingers or toes curling? For women, sometimes there's like this sense of like this vibration sensation that happens during an orgasm. I actually have made a video on whether or not she is faking it, what's a fake versus a real orgasm look like. So if you're dating somebody that you can't really tell if they came, then you might want to watch that video because it's helpful in terms of like breaking it down what that looks like. So that's an interesting video. But whether it's a man or a woman, there are physiological clues to show you like, did they actually finish? But in general, them being silent versus loud does not mean that you're not doing a good job. It doesn't mean that they're not enjoying themselves. Everyone's just different in how they express pleasure. So just keep that in mind. Other tips to improve your sex life. Talking about fantasy is really helpful. Research shows that partners that are able to express their fantasies, even if they don't act them out, are more likely to have better orgasms, better relationship and sexual satisfaction, which is also linked to psychological well-being. So being able to talk about your fantasies is really helpful. Another really important one that I've talked about before is cuddling after sex. It acts as the foreplay for the next sexual experience. experience. So you want to continue like releasing hormones after sex. That definitely helps. And also having sex in the morning is a great way to start your day, which is something that I learned from Dr. Ruth, and I will continue talking about, even though it's not for everybody. It's really good to have sex in the morning, especially if you're an older individual, old people. She said that they should get up, have some breakfast, and then get right back into bed. And I will continue talking about that because I think it's a great idea. It's a great way to start your day, just like having a cup of coffee or having a nice workout. Release those hormones, you know? You'll probably be in a better mood, be nicer to people too. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on bell notifications for more real life applications to sex and psychology. I hope the quality was great. Comment below with any ideas for videos, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye.